Is there really a monster at New Hyde, or is it all in the character's head?
Will Pepper ever get out?
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad is Dan Stevens' accent?
We'll answer all those questions and more on this episode of The Terror, The Devil in Silver.
You ever think there's something?
My name's Bubba, and with me as always is someone I wish I could gag during these podcasts, is Catfish. Catfish, how you doing?
Bubba, it's a pleasure as always to be joined by someone who's worse at basketball than Lucci.
Oh, hurtful. Hey, we're going to be breaking down The Terror, Devil in Silver, Episode 1, November in My Soul, where Pepper is arrested and committed for an involuntary 72-hour IceCold, and Episode Deuce, Disturbed, where Pepper is visited by a bloody former inhabitant of New Hyde and attacked by a mysterious entity. On this podcast, we'll be checked into New Hyde Psychiatric Hospital, and we'll break it down all the crazy or sane things happening. Catfish, we're talking about Season 3 of the anthology show The Terror.
Holy cow, Bubba. This is crazy because it felt
Crazy.
like... I don't have this committed to memory. I'm probably completely wrong. But it feels like there was 2, maybe 3 years between Season 1 and Season 2 because they're completely separate stories. And it feels like there's been 5 years since we had Season 2.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Bubba, this is just crazy. This is the anthology series that I'm most confused about.
Well, we're talking about Season 3. It's a completely new story, new characters, new everything, new location. It's all new, my friend.
It's set in New York.
New York, baby. Queens, that's where the kings live, right? Okay, so I did some research. I was like, let's see if we can find out what the vibe is going into this show.
Got it.
A site called NTG said it was the best season of The Terror to date. Bloody Disgusting gave it 4 stars out of 5. IndieWire gave it a B, said it's another bright, if not sterling, chapter in The Terror's anthology. Den of Geek called it a fairly compelling horror story. Hollywood Reporter called it a simmering cauldron of spooky, disturbing elements that never quite comes to a boil in terms of fright or theme. Collider said a mesmerizing cast anchors an occasionally bumpy plot. AV Club said it was promising, but ultimately messy. You and I, we're from the 5 boroughs. We want to know, what is your rating for the first 2 episodes of this 6-episode series? Catfish, what rating are you going to give these first 2 episodes?
All right, Bubba, I'm going to give these first 2 episodes 7 out of 10, what we all know as, in the boroughs, as triple A's.
Triple A's?
Yeah, that's when your main character is an atrociously accented a-hole.
Wait a minute.
But this is a particular quirk of mine.
Of yours.
I am really bugged by bad American accents. It really takes me out. So perhaps this is more bothersome to me than other people. Although when I played the first 15 seconds of an episode from Ms. Catfish, she was like, oh God. And she was talking about Dan Stevens' accent. First of all, Ms. Catfish and I, great fans of Dan Stevens. His movie, The Guest, is fabulous. I call it a horror movie. It feels like a horror movie, even though, he's sort of set up as a Michael Myers guy, even though he's not indestructible. But it is a great horror movie. He's fabulous in it. He's got a decent American accent that didn't bother me. Why can't they have him do that? Or just let him do his own accent. Who cares? Who cares? Why does he need to be a native New Yorker here? Like, he is really hitting it hard more than anybody else. There's no need for him to be a New Yorker.
No,
all right, fine.
No, come on.
It just bugs me so much. Let him do a standard American accent or whatever. Listen, you hire him. He's a good actor. Maybe he wants to do it, but you just tell him, no.
Seven out of 10. If he was doing his own voice, where would that rating move to?
I might give it. I might go up another 1, Bubba. And as we all know, 7 plus 1 is 7.5. Now look,
Wait, you've been talking about his accent for like 3 minutes, and it's just one single point on the scale. That seems a little caprice, like you're missing some cannoli in the brain.
Look, I want to be generous here. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's tough for him out in these streets.
Yeah.
It's got some good scares in this. A mental hospital is always rife with possibilities, especially is it in the characters' heads or is it actually real? And I would say, considering that no one asked for season 3 and even less people are going to watch it, then it's actually good so far. What about you, Bubba? What are you going to give? Are you going to give this a New York raspberry, or are you going to give this a New York shot in the arm?
Let me tell you something.
Tell me.
I see these pills they're giving my boy Peppa, and you've never asked me why I go by Bubba. It's because it's a little spicy, a little kick, a little Bubba kick, just like my boy Peppa. So what I got to say is that, listen, I'm gonna go crazy, and I'm not gonna worry about his accent and it not sounding too believable. I'm saying I'm going 8 triple H's out of 10 for these first 2 episodes.
Wait, triple H's?
Yes, well, as we all know, when you're strapped down to the bed, the last thing you want to see is some horrifying hands helping themselves to hurt your health.
Wait a second, that's a quadruple H.
Hey, they didn't teach me how to count out on the island. Strong Island. That's where I got them wild.
In these streets. All right, excellent. Okay, so...
But let me say why 8 out of 10. I came in with very low expectations. My friends at AMC and AMC Plus, this show has been done for a while. They had a press release that said they were going to put it out in 2025. Here we are. It's May of 2026, and this thing's finally being released. Forget about it. I mean, I'm talking here. So I just want to know why they held it out, because it's actually pretty good and it's creepy. And I read, let's go back in the Wayback Machine here, Catfish. When we covered the Terror Season 1 here at Double PHQ Podcast, we did it because you told me to read this book, The Terror, by my boy Dan Simmons. Great book.
He ended up being not such a good boy.
He wasn't a good dude, but that book was really good, and the first season of The Terror was really good. We covered Terror Season 1 and Season 2, and so I heard there was going to be a third season based on this book here, so I went and checked it out. Yeah. And I'll give a book report later, but I thought, hey, this is a good book, but why has AMC held this show for so long? So I went in with low expectations. I watch it. This is creepy. This is scary. This is like going to my Nuna's house. I mean, this is crazy. So I see the pills that they're giving Peppa, and let me tell you something, buddy. I need some of those pills when I'm flying. Hello.
Absolutely.
So
I gave you one of those pills when we were on a train across Europe, and you started speaking in tongues. That might have been scarier than anything happened in these first 2 episodes.
It was pretty scary. So 8 out of 10 with low expectations, and I'm a scaredy cat. I think this is creepy. This is menacing.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they've done a really good job. But what we like to say here is, who cares what we think? We want to know what you think. If you're here watching us 2 Maluks on YouTube, go down in the comments and please leave your thoughts. If you're, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, hype it one time, could you please? Then also subscribe if this is the type of content you like. We're going to be talking about The Terror. There's 6 episodes. We're going to do 3 podcasts covering 2 episodes at a time. And I'm actually excited to see where this goes, even though I've read the book. If you're listening, if you're listening on audio podcast, please reach out to me. I'm on all the deets at Double PHQ. That's the word double, the single letter P, like in your paw, HQ for headquarters. So Double P Podcast on all your social media apps.
You know what, Bubba? You recently texted me. You're like, hey, we hit 11,000 subscribers exactly.
Yeah.
I think we're going to need to rework after people listen to you doing that accent. We're going to have to build ourselves back up to 11K. We're going to get some people who are just going to be like, no, I can't do it anymore. And this is bonus content. We are doing this and Widow's Bay. So please forgive us.
Here we go. So We want to know what you think. Once again, Catfish is tough on these accents, but still likes the creeps. I think it's a creepy, eerie show. I certainly wouldn't want to spend any time there. This it's just not right.
No, it is not. And Bubba, listen, we are gonna we're gonna stop your pussyfooting around here.
Okay.
Out in these streets, we got to get right to it. As New Yorkers, we cut right to the heart of things.
For sure.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Just like it was asked by the orderly to CCH Pounder. Now, when I wrote her name down, it was auto-corrected to CCH Plunder, which I consider not an autocorrect fail, but an autocorrect success. He says to her, are we ever going to talk about this place, about what really goes on around here? Bubba, what the heck is going on, and what's behind that door?
What's behind that silver door? That is the best question. I'm afraid I'm not sure I'm really qualified to answer because I've read the book. And let me say, I'll have a book report later, but let me say that the show is similar, very similar to the book, but specifics seem to be moving around, changing a bit. So I don't want to guess. One thing I would say, though, is it's certainly open to your interpretation that these psychedelic drugs they're giving these patients here is they're seeing things. I mean, somebody like CCH Plunder, she doesn't see anything crazy. She knows it's kind of a creepy rundown facility, but she doesn't seem creepy. The docs and the cops, nobody's acting like, oh my goodness, we're around this haunted place. It seems to be only the people. Oh, the one. That's true. But even then, that was like at the end of episode 1. For the most part of the episode, I didn't think he thought he was in around anything supernatural. Did you?
No. In fact, I think the orderly himself, at this point, we're kind of inferring things, right? When the orderly says what really goes around here, I think he's talking about something more prosaic, and that is basically that they're keeping people around and drugged that don't need to be there just to keep their funding going. So I think kind of that's what he's talking about. He doesn't believe in anything supernatural as it was. But I'm worried, you know what, Bubba, I looked down at one point because I was making notes, and they had the keys, and the crazy old lady opened up the door, and there was coffee and stuff in there, and I thought to myself, wait, is that the door? Is that what's behind the door? Is it just the storage closet? But no, it turned out not to be that door. So it would be amazing if behind the door was actually even cooler coffee and cookies.
Right, you open it up, it's a Starbucks.
Yeah, bam, look at that. Just like those commercials with the NFL player with the Taco Bell in his house. Bam, right there. I'll have a chalupa, thank you.
Oh, man. Okay, so hey, we want you to participate. If you've watched these first 2 episodes, go down in the comments and tell us what you thought. I think that, once again, I want to be an equal partner with you on this, Catfish, but because I have read the book that this specific season is based off, I got to be a bit careful. Now, one thing I don't
let's be honest about the other 2 seasons. Is that they were both like this one, and in fact, they maybe even more. They were set in situations that were very dire for the participants. In the first season, they were stuck on the ice. In the second season, they were in a Japanese internment camp. So this is kind of along the same sort of theme that people stuck in something that is basically hell on earth and just a horrible situation, and then we add supernatural on top of it. So it's not going to be the terror unless it's actually supernatural. Otherwise, we know we're wasting our bloody time here. Sorry, I should say you're wasting my friggin' time over here.
Hey, look at the time. All right, Catfish. This show, it wants to do a lot of things. Certainly, I think even after 2 episodes, it wants us to love the characters. But before we dive into the characters, it wants to do scares. I've got a list. Have you got a list of scary things that happened in these first 2? The whole series begins with a patient. We don't know how they died, but they're kind of, I guess, in rigor mortis, and they can't get them out the door. And this isn't horror. This is just damn creepy as hell. I wrote JFC, man. They're breaking this dude's bones. And then CCH Pounder says, we have to do the leg as well. Oh, my Lord. And then the scene ends with them just flipping the mattress. Holy smokes. Holy smokes.
Bubba, when I used to work as a mover in New York City, and I used to have to carry couches up a very narrow 3 set of stairs, if she had me come in there, I would have had them out there in a jiffy, not have to break nothing.
We're going to have to break the armrest. Yeah, oh my Lord. But how about this for a favorite creepy scene or scare? Ooh. The nice cop, at the end of episode 1, he meets the founder of the creepy place, and then he caps himself in the head, and like the founder's face was falling down. Oh. Ooh. How about that? How about, and that was Dr. Walter, and everybody's talking about, ooh, Dr. Walter's going to pay him a visit. Do not pay me a visit. I already mentioned it in my rating. The devil hands coming out of the ceiling and long hands and grabbing him. And then, of course, there was the devil buffalo attack in episode 2. What in the world is going on? Catfish, what is your favorite scene, the scariest scene, the creepiest scene? What in these first 2 episodes really stood out to you?
Again, it was the opening scene when Dan Stevens opened his mouth. And I was like, oh, that's not really going to be the accent, is it? Oh, ba-bing, it was the accent. Okay, I got to give it to... It's a longer scene than just what you mentioned. It's the cop who has second thoughts.
Oh boy!
About straining this guy in a loony bin for no reason. He takes a step around the corner, and all of a sudden he's in Nowheresville. This kind of reminds me of. I just saw a very good Japanese horror movie based on a video game called Exit 8. There's another horror movie coming out soon by a YouTuber turned big screen director called Back Rooms.
Yep.
And so that's what I like, is like all of a sudden you were in alternate space. And that is spooky, and nothing good usually comes of that.
And think of what he was doing at the time. He was going to drop a dime and say, hey, New Hyde Psychiatric Hospital over here is, keeping people against their will.
Yeah.
They're drugging people so they can't, be released. And you saw what New Hyde did to him. Hello, Dr. Walter, do not visit me. I will go ahead and say that this is a bit heartbreaking, and it's a bit from the book report. But one of my favorite things from the book was the buffalo attack, the devil buffalo attack. And I thought the show did it poorly. What I thought the show did very well was the creepy hands coming down from the ceiling. It was like, oh my Lord.
All right. I thought the buffalo attack was good. You got the sense of him being trampled with the noises, disorienting. The guy, his roommate, is looking at him like, this is horrible, but better you than me. It was all very good. And let me tell you, between that and the way the orderlies treat him, especially when he knocks down Lucci's grandma, he has really had the crud beat out of him. And as you can tell, he's about 72 pounds dripping wet. So this poor guy is not ready for this amount of beating.
Yeah, he's getting beaten more than those drums he ordered. Hello.
Ba-boom!
Hey, listeners, we want you to tell us, what was you think the scariest, the best scene in these first 2 episodes? Are you engaged with the show? We're obviously making light of certain stuff, but are you engaged with us? Please, go down on those YouTube comments. This is an interactive thing. You're like the 3rd podcast host, and we want to talk to you.
We need lots of feedback on this show. Bubba, we were like, we're going to do Widow's Bay. This show is not even on regular AMC yet. I don't know whether they should have advertised it more if they wanted it to draw people to AMC Plus. But nonetheless, we had some people asking to do this show, and so we're doing it. Help us out by doing it, by giving us some great feedback. Give us crappy feedback. We don't care. Feedback is feedback. We'll read it like it's all good. And Bubba?
Yeah.
One thing we want to know also from people is, all right, we got a bunch of people in this show. Who of them is Looney Tunes and who of them is regular tunes? All right, so let's run through all the characters. Are they Looney Tunes or are they regular tunes? All right, so we got to start off with the patients. We start off with Pepper. Pepper, the drummer, the rat smasher, and once again, Bubba, it is funny because I would say that he is a not. You said these characters are likable. He is not likable, but that is not out of place for the Terror.
100%.
Season 1,
100%.
Season 2, the people we followed were unlikable. Now,
like they were doing things that maybe earned them the pain and suffering they were going to get.
Right. Now, I would say, though, that Dan Stevens tops him for being unlikable.
Wow.
Well, you know what? He's got completely irresponsible. He's got no money, no job.
Oh my God!
And he's spending $4,000.
His girls $4,000 on these drums. Oh my Lord!
Just a no for me. If I was her, I'm not showing up. But we'll get to that later. We will get to that later. I would say good riddance to him. All right.
Oh, hold on. He was very good with her daughter. He may have a child of his own that he wasn't so good with, and that's an interesting point. And he got by trying to defend this woman from her abusive ex, right? So he's not the greatest guy, but like on a lot of these shows, there are a lot of characters who are worse. So how about this?
How dare you?
How about this?
Yeah.
Peppa.
Yeah.
Is he Looney Tunes? Or the other thing you said that I can't
Regular tunes.
Regular tunes.
How could you not remember regular?
I can't believe
regular. I say Peppa is regular tunes.
Even after all these drugs that they're forcing him to take, I think.
Well,
that's
yeah. I mean, I would say that
before the drugs,
without
he was
the drugs,
tunes.
Regular tunes.
Regular
now with
tunes.
the drugs,
I agree.
He's medium musical.
Okay.
All right. What about Dory?
The keeper of the keys.
The keeper of the keys. She tells him a long story about the buffalo. Yep. What a coincidence. Thanks a lot. Please don't tell me a story about a steamroller, please, because that's going to hit me next. She says, you know where you are. You're in the jungle, baby. And she says, New Hyde is hungry. Okay, Bubba. Dory. Looney Tunes or regular tunes?
I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
She's the boss.
Oh, damn it.
She's the boss. Angela, Mona, Samantha. I think she was Angela. I forget which one she was on Who's the Boss. I think this actress, Judith Light, is doing a bang-up job. She's great. But Dory, you know what? Her line delivery of You're in the Jungle, baby, it was Dory, I guess, I'm going to call her a Looney Tune short, meaning she's actually kind of got some smarts. She got the keys, right? The woman's not gone, but she's had somebody's messed with her Folger crystals. Somebody's messed with her Folger crystals is what I said.
All right, Bubba. Up next, Coffee.
Wait, what do you think? Do you think Dory's?
Oh no, I said she's regular tunes.
Regular tunes.
I know I said she's Looney Tunes.
Okay,
I can't remember. Whatever I said first is right. Don't pay any attention to me now, listeners. I've already moved on to Coffee, who needs $8.25 to call the president. Mm-hmm. Seems like Lucci's grandma got that for him, and so he's got it now. He says, "Why haven't any of us been rescued?" He won't fight the system.
No.
And it's the man. But you know what? He gets a call and he says, I like the new guy. Keep him around. Hey, that is smart to keep him around. But I would say of anybody, Coffee is the looniest of the tunes here.
Oh man. I guess I'm going to agree with you. But what's funny is for somebody who's definitely, a full bugs, I think he's actually pretty nice. He's also kind of like the heart of the show. And,
True.
And his visual terror at the buffalo attack, I thought that was actually great acting.
Yeah, no, it sells it. It sells the buffalo attack that you have disdained.
Well, I just loved it in the book, so I'm just going to leave it at that. So I will say Looney Tunes for him. How about some of these lesser-known patients here, Catfish?
Okay.
We're going to go to some really lesser-knowns. She's been called the funniest person on the unit, Sammy, even though she's not really a joke teller, and her partner in crime, her Ed McMahon, is named Sam. So we got Sam and Sammy, Sam had one funny line, I thought, in the second episode when Peppa really got it. She was like, "Oh, he's gonna miss the comedy show." So Sam and Sammy, these two ladies, what do you got? Catfish, Looney Tunes, or regular tunes?
Well, you can call them Sammy and Sam, but I'm going to call them Tom and Jerry because they are two regular Looney Tunes.
I'm not sure Tom and Jerry were Looney Tunes.
They're a Looney Tunes pair up. How about Sylvester and the Putty Tat?
There you go. I like that. And I agree. Did you recognize this actress? I recognize the Ed McMahon there, the one trying to set up Sammy, but I didn't go on IMDb and see her things. But yeah, they're both Looney Tunes. How about Lucci, the hoop star, as you said? Lucci, a girl, let me tell you something. You touch her grandma, she'll bust your ass. Lucci, Looney Tune or regular tune?
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm going to have to go Lucci, a Looney Tune.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry.
Man, you do that to my grandma, I might bust you up too. Are you saying I'm a Looney
I know
Tune?
I am simply because, as I said, both of your basketball skills are for shit. Maybe I should just call it Lucci Tunes.
I like Lucci a lot, and I
do too.
But I agree with you. There's a bit like Dory, the keeper of the keys. Lucci is like so close to being, just one of us, but she does have a bit of a challenge getting that final way. I don't even know these characters. I call them the Statler and Waldorf, the two old dudes who hang out. You got any thoughts on these two, Catfish? Are they full Looney Tunes?
You know what? I think of anybody, and so far we haven't seen anything about them. So far, I think they're just chilling out and living their best lives.
Do you know, I did look at IMDb for one thing, because I wanted to find out these characters' names. And I think, once again, it's real tough because this show is so under the radar. IMDb isn't even updating like it should. But I think one of these guys was the actor in the Blues Brother who sang, "Heidi, Heidi, Heidi, ho, Heidi, Heidi." You remember that scene in the Blues Brothers where the guy went into a fantasy? I think one of these guys is him. So
Holy cow.
I think once again, I feel bad that they're in this terrible place, but I'm going to go call them full Looney Tunes.
Okay, all right, we disagree there. I think they're living their best lives. Listen, let me just tell you something.
Sure.
I recently investigated how expensive it is to put your parents in assisted or even independent living.
Wow.
These guys are living off the state and living large, and all they got to do is show up to a book club and listen. They must have a gym in that place because ripping those books in half, those guys are strong. They're crazy strong.
That oatmeal has protein in it. Did you see how you stuck a fork in it and it stood straight up? Catfish, let's go to some of the staff members. Let's find out if they are Looney Tunes. They've been working for a while. There's the orderly. Scotch Tape is his nickname. He was telling Peppa in the second episode, "Hey, I'm doing this because I'm trying to, it's just a way for me to work my way up." You got Scotch Tape. He loves laying down the law. What do you think, Scotch Tape? Full Looney Tunes, regular tune?
Now regular tunes for him.
How about Miss Chris? She is a CCH plunder. She is really tough, and she doesn't blink when it's time to break bones. She's Looney Tunes or regular tunes?
I'm going to go off the board, and I'm going to say she's tough tunes.
Adult tunes, if you know what I mean. How about Dr. We love Asif Manvi from The Daily Show. Here he is. He's playing Dr. Anand.
I mean, come on. You know what you say from The Daily Show?
No, say it.
He was in what is probably going to be the last ever truly scary network show, and that is Evil, which again was truly scary. It played with everything like it was like the X-Files, real, not real, but was truly scary. So Oscar Monby, so far, not much for him here. I'm going to call him Tunes Too Quiet. Not hearing enough from him right now.
Yeah, you may not hear enough from him, but this show really has no laughs or comedy. But when Peppa was beating up Dr. Anon and he's looking around like, hey, does anybody work here to pull this guy off me? That actually made me laugh. So I'm going to go maybe Corrupt Tune. How do you like that? How do you like that? The way he knew that cop was telling the truth about, he didn't take his meds, so we got to keep him more than 72 hours. Josephine, all we know about her is she can't keep track of the damn keys, Josephine.
Well, yeah, but they're never going to replace him, and she's sending money back to her family. She's stranded here, and basically they're going to take it out of her pocket. Now, Bubba, go. Yeah. I'm ready for you on this one.
Wait, Josephine, you're saying regular tunes?
She regular tunes.
Okay, I agree. How about the character, it's kind of hidden what his name is. It's actor Stephen Root, who plays Dr. Badger. Looney Tune, regular tune.
Bubba?
Yeah.
I am going to say Looney Tune, and I'll tell you why.
Whoa.
I think he's actually in this hospital. Now, they say when they're talking about One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, they're talking about how they're in the worst part of the hospital. They're the end of the hospital.
Yep.
And so I think when he's like, it wasn't until he was like, get me out of here, that I thought to myself, and thinking about this character, I think he's in another part of the asylum. He's not, so I would say he's regular Looney Tunes when the rest of these guys are extra Looney Tunes. But no, he's not going home at night either. Or maybe he's going home and he just has to go there during the day. Nonetheless, he either inpatient or outpatient. Stephen Root, doctor, he could be a doctor, but he's also a patient.
Let me tell you something. When they were ripping up those books that he thought, hey, wait, I can return these and get a refund, he turned Looney Tunes. Hey, guys, don't do that. I got to shout out this show. I got another laugh right here. When Peppa shows up late to book club, Dr. Badger's like, when I lecture at Nassau Community College, my students arrive early. I loved it. I thought that was smart. Okay, so...
and actually a really good moving moment there.
Oh, yeah.
When Peppa says, look, you can't just abuse us. Everyone else abuses us. Just have some common courtesy over here. And he does. He says, please.
He says,
that was a good moment.
Please. Good work, Dr. Badger. We got the cops. They don't even have names. We got Huey, who's the leader with the goatee a-hole cop. We got Dewey, the female cop, who was also in the show we covered, Why the Last Man. And we got, I assume, Louie, the dead cop who killed himself. Are any of these cops Looney Tunes or regular tunes?
They're a-hole tunes. They're all a-holes. Their a-holes are dead, so you figure it out from that. What about you, Bubba? What do you say? Regular tunes, Looney Tunes?
I wonder why the Louie, the third cop, took care of himself. Maybe he was like, I'm leaving. Excuse me, nurse, do you have anything for a headache? And she gave him some of those drugs. Why'd he kill himself like that? I'm going to say all regular tunes. Now, Catfish, all right. There's still more characters to cover.
They're what I like to call the outsiders, because luckily they get to live outside this nightmare.
Hey,
now we got Marisol, super bad tasted men, just a gorgeous looking woman.
Yep.
Seems to have a head on her shoulders, but clearly does not have good taste in men. Bubba, quick question though. We saw in episode 2, inside. Was she really there? Or was she a figment of his imagination? This is a possibility.
He woke up when he had been drugged. He woke up and suddenly she's there. I hadn't thought of that, Catfish. I will only... How about a mild book spoiler? Jump ahead 30 seconds if you don't want to hear this. But here's a minor book spoiler. She never visits the hospital in the book.
Well, okay, so that's fine. And that doesn't really affect it here. But also, my antenna went up over there when I saw her. Because he's all drugged up. And then we got Ivan, Marisol's ex. His major feature so far at this point is that he hates drums. And then we have Anthony, the possibly real adult son of Pepper. And the reason why he's only possibly real is because I suspect Marisol didn't actually come visit him, and also that Anthony didn't visit Marisol because Anthony don't exist.
Let me tell you, this Ivan, Marisol's ex, a true piece of work. And I'm going to say that the only person who can get through to somebody who hates drummers is Phil Collins.
Well, all right.
I was aiming. All right, hold on. Let me try this again.
I can feel that in the air tonight. Okay, go ahead.
Ivan, you know what he was happy about?
Tell me.
When Ringo left the Beatles.
Oh, I thought it was when Keith Moon overdosed.
All right, listeners, who's your favorite character? Who do you like? Are all these people really worse as far as their mental facilities because how they've been treating here at New Hyde Hospital? Catfish, this is the Ice Cold podcast. We called season 1 Ice Cold. We called season 2 Ice Cold. This is the Ice Cold podcast. Please tell me, in these first 2 episodes of The Terror season 3, what were the best ice cold put downs of the week?
You know what? I could only come up with one there, Bubba. You'll probably go off the board, but after he gets his ass beat, just brutally beat by the granddaughter, the orderly says, "You're not getting out that easy," and then he drags him away. He's got a head wound already. There's blood coming from his head. So that's the only one that I could come up with. So that's my winner, Bubba, by process of elimination.
All right, I want you to ask me the official question.
Bubba, what is the best ice cold put down of the week?
It was Lucci, the way she put down Peppa when she pushed her grandma. That was just brutal. I love that. Lucci.
All right, well, considering how much he's getting whipped, we might have to change it to the best beatdown of the week. That was beat down. Beat down. All right, Bubba, I got another question for you, and we're going to call this your double P.
Double P?
Yeah, your Peppa preference. Based on the episodes we've seen, does Peppa make it out? And do you want Peppa to make it out, or does he deserve a nasty fate for being such an a-hole?
Again, I have to hold back because the book has an actual answer to this question. I would say it like this if I hadn't watched the show. The book, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest being a part of this story, and then people calling him McMurtry. No spoiler alert, but do you know how McMurphy? Do you know where he ended up at the end of the movie?
Oh yeah.
I'm afraid that could be Peppa's fate. So that's my thought. But again, I don't want to say too much. What do you think, Peppa? Is he flying the coop, or is he stuck in the coop?
Well, Bubba, as Mick Catfish would say, he gone. And as I would say, that's good.
Whoa.
As I was saying before, there were in other seasons, the leads weren't so great, but we had sympathy for other characters. I feel like we haven't gotten enough for these other characters. Again, maybe his roommate I feel sympathy for. But right now, I don't. I guess I'm rooting. I'm what you would call a double B.
Double B?
Yeah, Buffalo Boy. I'm all for the Buffalo. Just grab him.
Oh, man. That is interesting. Listeners, if you have not read the book, if you've not seen spoilers, we got 4 more episodes. Write to us and tell us, what do you think? Is Peppa getting out? Is he going to help these people like he got the doctor to say, please? What's he going to do? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I think the show presents it as a big question mark, even 2 episodes in. Now, Catfish, I'm wearing my glasses because I want to seem smart on the podcast. I think you got to lay down on the couch, and we got to do some therapy. We got to get into your third eye, and you got to see if you can come up with this. So Pepper is there at the book club. Yeah. He's looking around at all the other patients, and call me crazy. Don't all the other patients have like bruises and cuts and sores, and they've all been injured, right?
You know what, Bubba, I didn't notice that, but I'm going to say to you, yes.
So here's the question. Why are these patients have injuries, have sores, have bruises? Are they self-inflicted because they high on the meds, or something else? Let's hear it. What do you think?
Well, now, Bubba, you know the one thing when someone's in the hospital, they try to move you around, get you up to move around, because if you just lay there, you're going to have bed sores. Mm-hmm. They don't have bed sores, but they've got other sores because the long hands are flipping them to make sure they don't get bed sores, but the long hands aren't very delicate. So, yeah, the long hands are getting handsy, and that's what's causing the sores.
Okay, now I think I can talk about this because, once again, minor book spoiler. There isn't that moment. There isn't a moment where Pepper looks around at the other patients and thinks, oh man, these people have all been injured. So I wonder if it's a sign that this devil, this force, the doctor who founded this place, something is hurting these people. Now, once again, it could be a mundane, real life, this is a rundown place. That could be it. But a part of me, if I'm here laying on the couch and if I had to say why these people getting injured, I think it's some evil force, and it would tie in, let's be honest, to those first 2 seasons of The Terror. So I agree.
All right, well, listen, since I didn't see it and you saw it, we got to put it down to our listeners. Did you see it? In other words, is Bubba regular tunes or Looney Tunes?
Wait a minute. How dare you? Okay, well, Catfish, I'm going to give a book report. This is a non-spoiler book report, but I want to give it just as a way to kind of give you guys an idea that if you like this show and want to read the book, it'll give you a kind of a vibe for it. Number one,
you don't want to save this till the end, no. So that all right, let's have it. Let's have the triple B, the Bubba's book blathering.
Here we go.
That's what I got. I came up with that in the last second. Go ahead.
Okay, well, here's the way I would say it: is that when I read this book, and let me say I did it in audiobook form. Now, the one thing the book does, it's in third-person perspective. And Pepper is the main character, but the book will jump, and not by chapter, just, it could be a paragraph, and suddenly we're in Scotch Tape, the orderly's perspective, and his thoughts on things. And then we could jump over and be in Coffee's or Dory's. We kind of are on...
Is it like in an oral history style?
No.
They don't... So you just have to, as you're reading along, all of a sudden you're like, oh, we're in a different perspective. Are there at least 3 dots?
It's still third person, not first person. So it'd be like Dory thought this. Dory was doing this because of this. Lucci was doing this because of this.
Okay.
And so once again, Pepper is the main character. We're mainly in his thoughts, but we jump around to everybody: the doctors, the patients, the orderlies, and it took a while. But because of that, I really did grow to like these characters. And because of that, I think that's why, when all was said and done, I gave the book 4 stars out of 5 on Goodreads. I thought that this was really, really well done and an interesting story. All right. Now, that said, I want to say this right at the top. I read this entire book, or audiobook, and it's actually a bit of a long audiobook compared to some I've read, or listened to, And I'll tell you one thing, I was never scared in it.
Okay.
But I will say this about the buffalo attack, and in I don't want to go too much, because if it's similar to the book, it'll probably happen in episode 3. But the buffalo, to me, it reminded me of the monster in Rosemary's Baby.
Okay.
Did you see Rosemary's Baby? Rosemary's Baby didn't ever really show the devil in that, right? The monster in that.
Right.
But you got the idea that, like, it had cloved feet. It was almost like a Pan's Labyrinth type monster, but instead of a human head, it had a buffalo head, for lack of a better word. And the book did a great job of making me imagine, oh my God, what that thing is. And let me say, according to the book, once again, I don't want to spoil anything, that is not the last we see of the buffalo monster, according to the book. So,
all right.
I think it's really good. The book never scared me, but it did create these images. And so I'm excited for these final 4 episodes. That's all I'm going to do on this week's Triple B Bubba's Book Blathering. But I am going to talk about it a lot, and hopefully that's no spoilers for anybody. So there, I've said my piece.
All right, love it, Bubba. We got some feedback here, and again, we are begging for your feedback. Please, you've asked us to be here. We're here. Join us. All right, Louis_the_third says, I'm enjoying it.
I think that is my rating too, Catfish. I went 8 out of 10. You went, remind me, you went 7
out of 10.
But you're still enjoying it, right? How about this? If we weren't podcasting it, would you watch those final 4 episodes? I would.
I would wait and binge them, and just so that I could get through the whole story. This is funny because I was just talking on our Widow's Bay podcast about how much I love having the space in between the episodes to think about them, to watch them again like that. I tell you, this one I would wait until it's all done, just so that I could get the whole thing over with. Just because I wouldn't want to okay, now I have to wait a week. It's not that.
Yeah, it's not that type of show.
It's not that urgent for me. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
All right, so Dooley's left legs.
A true double L.
What, double L?
Loyal, long-time listener.
Perfect. That is great. And lovely, loyal, long-time listener said, I need to binge this show. Oh. I'm with you, Dooley. Let's just go through the whole thing. Episode 1 was a solid 9. Quadruple C's.
Quadruple C's?
Yeah, caution. Continuous creepy corridors.
Heck yeah.
It might even get close to season 1 in terms of terror.
Ooh.
Season 2 didn't do much for me, but I'm already into this exclamation point.
Heck
all right,
yeah.
Bubba, so we are going to do this, what I like to call 2 episodes at a time. That's what I like to call it. So the next we will be covering the episodes 3 and 4, Che Guevara, and A Number in the System. Bubba?
Yeah.
Now, again, for some reason, you decided, look, whenever I watch a show that's based on a book that I saw, I'm always disappointed. I have read this book, so what am I going to do? I'm going to read it so I can be disappointed. So,
well, I gave it a higher rating than you. What's going on?
Without any spoilers, what do you want to see happen in the next 2 episodes? There's a total of 6 episodes.
Let me explain it this way. So the very first scene on the show of these 2 people having to break this guy's limbs to get him out the door, that wasn't how the book started. That actually felt like it happened about 60% of the way through the story.
Oh, interesting.
And that patient really, obviously, was not in the room that Pepper was in, because Pepper was there for 60% of the story too, and it was almost like an aside of how rough this place was. Hey, this other patient, remember him? They had to break his limbs to get him out the door after what happened. So all of that to say that the 2 kind of best scenes in the book, if the show's going to be, which since that scene it kind of has been more chronologically correct to the book story. So if that's true, the next 2 oh my God moments will probably happen in the next 2 episodes. And I hope they do, because the book to me had 3 great moments. And I think there's, once again, if the storyline's the same, these next 2 episodes are going to have at least 2 of these, oh my God, this is incredible moments. So I'm excited.
All right, excellent. Well, what I'm hoping to do is to find out a little bit more about some of these characters, these other characters, so that I can feel for them. Mm-hmm. Again, we've already established enough that the main character is an a-hole, so it would be nice to develop feelings for some of the other characters so that I can have sympathy for someone rather than saying, "There's just desserts for you, Peppa."
Hey, what do you guys want to see in the final 4 episodes in the next 2? If you're on YouTube, go down and tell us. If you're on audio podcast, go to our social media sites at PHQ on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, Threads. We want to talk to you. Email hello@doublepmedia.com. Can't wait. For everybody here at PHQ, my name's Bubba, and you can find me on Twitter and other social media apps at Fit and Trim. That's FITTENTRIM at Fit and Trim on social media.
Hey, and I'm Catfish. You can only find me at 2 places, all right? One of them places is called Instagram, and the other one is called Blue Sky.
What's your handle on those 2
My handle on those things. Hey, listen up, jerks. It's G to the man. That's GEETOTHEMAN. And we'll talk to you next time on the podcast that actually has a name. Unlike at the beginning, it's called Ice Cold.
You ever think there's something?
Catfish, you are regular too.
I don't know. I just came up with that. It was good. It was good.
That was good.